What's going on, Falcon fan? This your boy Recondo coming back at you with another video. So today, as promised, I was going to come out and give you my prediction for the season for the Atlanta Falcons. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about, of course, some transactions today because, like we said, the 53-man roster and the 16-man practice squad is definitely not complete yet. So we'll talk about that first, and then I will definitely go ahead and give my prediction to this season's win-loss record for the Atlanta Falcons. What's going on, Bubba Gump? So, guys, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit the like button so I know you guys are here to talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in and hear me talk about these Atlanta Falcons. So first of all, like I said, we're going to get into some transactions today. We talked about the waiver wire, and as suspected, the Falcons actually brought in two guys off the waiver wire today. They brought in offensive lineman Chuma Idoka from the Jets, swing tackle, 6'3", 208 pounds. Um, they really didn't have a swing tackle on the team since they had got rid of Rick Leonard. So they bringing in Idoga, a hometown kid from Powder Springs, Georgia, a couple miles from Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So this guy's coming home, a swing tackle, and we, like we said, we really don't know what they expect from this offensive line. We think it's better, but definitely gonna have to see in games. But adding to the trenches, as suspected with the waivers. Also, they brought in D lineman Mac Dickerson, has ties with the Tennessee Titans again. Played 18 games with those guys. Was actually coached by Dean Pease when Dean Pease was there. A 3-4 defensive end, 6'5", 292 pounds. With those waiver pickups, of course, they had to cut two guys from the 53-man roster. Like we said, if they picking up guys, they have to get some guys. So, and picks with that, they actually waived Dean Marlowe and Mike Ford. Now, those guys could definitely be back on the roster by the end of Friday. And according to Coach Smith today, he said hopefully by Friday they kind of have the initial what they probably going to be going into the Saints game with roster settled. Right, we still can have some guys going to IR, so a guy like Dean Marlowe and Mike Ford can definitely come back to the team. We'll just have to see about that. These guys also can end up on the practice squad. Speaking of the practice squad, they did bring in 13 guys today. Two guys, new guys, they brought in wide receiver Josh Ali, punt return specialist, and cornerback Cardir Holloman are the two new guys that they brought into the practice squad. And some guys that returning is tight end Miko Hartman, wide receiver Cameron Batson, defensive back Tease Tabor, offensive lineman Justin Schaefer, the only draftee that was actually cut. Running back Caleb Huntley. We actually lost Quadri Allison. He signed with the practice squad with the Dallas Cowboys. So I guess going back ties with the Dan Quinn's, why he did that, because it's still a practice squad spot, or unless the Falcons didn't offer him back to come to the practice squad. Defensive tackle Derek Tangelo, Jordan Bradford, cornerback Matt Hankins, offensive tackle Tyler Vabral, um, offensive lineman Ryan Newser, who actually played pretty good in that last preseason game, and then of course the energetic wide receiver Frank Darby. So right now they still have three spots left on the practice squad. Like I said, they could definitely bring either Dean Marlowe or Mike Ford to those spots to the practice squad, or those guys could be back on the active roster. We have to see. One thing about, since those guys are veterans, they do not actually tie in to the waiver, so those guys can't get claimed off the waiver, so they won't have to worry about that. If you remember last year, like what they did with Josh Harris, remember they released Josh Harris for one day to actually pick up a guy, and they signed him right back. So it could be something like that. We'll just have to wait to see how the Atlanta Falcons figure out this first 53-man roster going into the Saints game. So it's still some names out there they definitely could add. But it's like I said, think about right now, they got to start getting ready for the Saints. Of course, this is little of a bye week, so they're gonna get a little time off probably this weekend, and then come back in and be ready to roll on Monday. So just be looking out for that. But by Friday, Coach Smith said hopefully for that first game, at least for the Saints, that this roster be finalized so these guys can start to know what they got and see what they're gonna do. Wallace said here, you say he weighed more than 200. No, they saying he weighed 308 pounds. I said 208. My bad. Actually, he weighed 308. So um, that's pretty big. 6'3", 308 pounds. I said 208. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, 308. Chuma coming in, like I said, swing tackle. Of course, they had reported on. I think Ian Rappaport reported that he was coming in to compete for that right tackle position. That's not true. Coach Smith verified today. He just depth and adding in. Like I said, they really didn't have a swing tackle. You would think somebody like Jermaine Fetty could be that swing tackle, but Jermaine Fetty actually just played right tackle. He never played left. So, and then they mentioned today that Jermaine Fetty actually lining up at right guard. So bringing in a guy like Chuma you can actually move your offensive lineman around. I thought they was going to keep 9 offensive linemen anyway, so Chuma having him in kind of goes to that logic of having 9 linemen, and then defensive line, like I said, bringing in somebody like Dickerson to come in, somebody that has familiarity with Dean P's scheme is big, and we don't really know what's going on with Marlon Davidson, so that's why it's definitely um, good to bring somebody in this late into, especially if he's going to be able to contribute, week one anyway. So somebody that understands the scheme can come in, fill in behind that line and play, and Dickerson should be able to do that. So, guys, the real reason I'm here today um, is and predictions. This season is hard for predictions for me, and we talked about it all off season. The fact that um, everybody had the Falcons ranked so low, had them going 2-15 by one report. A lot of people had them going winning 4 games, winning 5 games, and things like that. Um, so after watching this team this offseason, and from what I seen, and then watching a lot of other teams in the league, I know it's just preseason, but I think the expectations for the Falcons is kind of low, and I'm hoping that the Falcons can go out and prove everybody wrong, right? So me being a Falcon fan, being a homer, being a guy who actually watched this team in practices this season, when they had open practices, watching all the games, knowing all the players, knowing what kind of work these guys put in. I feel like I have a little different perspective on what this team could actually do than the National Leagues. People that don't even know these guys, don't know, how much work they put in, don't really understand how talented some of these guys are, and then underestimating the coaching staff, in my opinion, a little bit about what they can actually get out of this team. Yes, let's just go ahead and talk about some of the things what could make people think why the Falcons record is going to be so bad. One of the things is we lost our franchise quarterback, right? So we got new quarterback in. Everybody really not um believing that Marcus Mariota can be the guy because he got, sat down for the other quarterback in Tennessee, right? So that's one of the things thinking about. Um he backed up Derek Carr for 2 years, haven't played in a while. Of course, Desmond Ritter is a rookie, right? Think about how bad our offensive line played last year. We couldn't block for the quarterback. We couldn't run the ball like we wanted to. Um, Defensive line gave up 2,200 rushing yards last year. We had 18 sacks. So all that's out there, but all that's last year, right? So each season's different. All right. This team bringing in all these new faces. Keep in mind there are only 14 guys from the Super Bowl, and from the last era. It's only 14 guys on the team. from that point. So this is a new team. So all those expectations that everybody's having about the Falcons. And then last but not least, of course, the salary cap. We got the largest dead cap hit in NFL history, but that doesn't mean anything about the team. But a lot of guys on 1 year contracts. So if you on the outside looking in, you don't know this team, I can understand, you know, why they're feeling the way or thinking the way they're thinking. But like I said, for guys that like us, the fans that actually follow this team and been watching this team in and out, some of the young guys that you can see progressing, like a AJ Terrell, like a Grady Jarrett, how explosive we know Kyle Pitts is, how we think a guy like Arthur Smith, his creativity with offense with the weapons that he have this year, and Dean Pease, who's been coaching a long time, how we think these guys going to have these guys to play. I think that's important overall. So that's where we're going to go. So we got here. I think the Falcons are being severely overlooked. They definitely look better than 2-4 win team. Not saying the world beaters, but I'm saying, and I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I do not think they're going to win 2 or 4 games. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I got them going. Right. I got them going 10-7. Right. And I'm gonna tell you guys why I got them going 10-7. First of all, like I said, I'll go down each game in just a minute, but I got them going 6-3 at home. We got to start winning our games at home. Yes, I got them going 6-3 at home. I'll tell you why in just a minute, but I got them going 6-3 at home. We have to win the home games. We got 9 games at home this year. I got them going 6-3, and I'll tell you who I think they're going to beat. I got them going 4-2 in the division. That's going to be tough to do, but however, I think they can do it. And of course, honestly, I got a little bias in it when it comes to the Saints. So um, that's just I can't stand the Aints, and I'm not going to give them a win. So yes, I got them being the Aints twice. That could be a little bit, way out there, but that just I admit to that one game. I got us beating the Saints twice, but I got us going 6-3, and I got us going 4-2 in the division. So we'll talk about it in just a minute. Let's get it here. Hey, you right, man, Mike. Yeah, they going. Yeah, Matt Ryan gone. Arthur Smith sucks. 0-17. Right, we're gonna be the Detroit Lions and the Cleveland Browns. That's how bad we're gonna be this year. All right. So guys, let's get to it. Right, the first game of the season is the New Orleans Saints, and yes, that's a win. That's a win. I got us going to win. I think our team gonna come out. We're gonna be hyped. It's a home game, the first game of the season, division game. I think we're gonna come out. I think the Aints, gonna underestimate us, just like everybody else, and we're gonna come out and we're gonna smack him in the mouth. I believe Jameis Winston's gonna give us a turnover. That's a W. I'm just telling you right now. They're not beating us in week 1. We got to get that win. That's just the way I look at it. If we come out and we set a tone in game 1 against the New Orleans Saints, we can actually set our tone for the whole season, right? So we got to come out. We got to smack them off. They coming into our hometown, first game of the season, division game. We got to be able to smack them off. They got a good defense. I'm tracking on that. They do. They have a good defense. Don't care about their defense. They got a new head coach. We keep not they're not looking at the idea that the New Orleans Saints got a new head coach. All right. Dennis Allen, yes, he's been a defensive coordinator there, but he's the head coach now. The mastermind behind the New Orleans Saints success was Sean Payton. Don't be mistaken about that. The mastermind behind um the New Orleans Saints success was Sean Payton. He's gone. Drew Brees is gone. Everybody going to talk about how great Jameis Winston was for 5 games. Before that, just go back and look at his track record. He never did anything when he was in Tampa. Right, his last season in Tampa, he went 30 for 30. Yes, he was playing well, but just give it time. He was going to implode, guys. Believe me when I'm telling you this. That's what he does from his college days to the pros. He's turnover prone. That's what he's gonna do because he can't help himself. He feel like he has to make a play. He has to make a play, and not having Sean Payton there to kind of pull him back in, haul him back in. I feel like he's gonna revert to that. That's just the way I feel about it. So that first game of the season, we're going to get a W. So that's how it's going to be. Yep. What man Mike got here? What he say? Yeah, man, it's stupid. It's the Dan Quinn versus Arthur Smith comparison is ridiculous. And one reason I want to say that Dan Quinn came in and we can admit we was excited, fast and physical. He came in, he had us in the first season we went 8-8, right? And then the next season went to the Super Bowl, right? But and I felt like he came in and he brought that energy. He really did. All right. And but let's be honest, Dan Quinn was a defensive coach, and our defense did not help the explosive offense that we had while he was here, right? Thomas Dimitrov invested in offense heavily, and we had a lot of weapons here. We still couldn't run the ball like we wanted to, except that 2016 season. We ran well when Kyle Shanahan was here. But at the end of the day, Dan Quinn being a defensive coach, the defense should have been better. So I think it's totally different. The whole mindset of this team different. One thing they're trying to get away from is the entitlement. Guys think they deserve something. This team today, you have to earn everything. We've seen it all around across the board. That's why a guy like Jared Bernhardt, lacrosse guy, coming in 1 year college football and make the team because they gave him opportunity and he sees that opportunity and he actually made the team. You just don't put on the team because you were drafted or you make a lot of money and things like that. That's not the kind of culture they're building here, and you can see that in what they're building. So you can. That's why I think it's a totally different thing between Dan Quinn and Arthur Smith. All right, guys. Second game of the season, Super Bowl champs. I gave us an L in that. Not saying that we cannot beat the Rams, but like I said, if I'm just being fair about it, uh, second game of the season, I think the Rams going to have a first tough game. I think they play the Bills the first game. They might lose, so they might be a little pissed off for one thing. They come in, they playing the Falcons um, on the road. We got to go on the road and play that team. I think Aaron Donald is going to be a beast out there, and it's going to be tough for us to win. I think we lose. I still think we be competitive in that game, but I'm taking us to lose that game. So we win against the Saints, the Aints, and we lose against the Rams. The next game, I got us going to Seattle against the 12s. Um, I think we can beat that team. I don't know why they was looked at to have a better record than us this year, and then NFC West, which is pretty tough division. So so think about it like this: if we should be able to beat that team, they got a new quarterback. They still in the mold. They really don't know where they're going. I think we can beat the Seattle Seahawks. So I'm getting us a win in that game. We got what we're gonna say a trap game for the Rams. Right, it is a trap game. You never know, right? We come out and we could actually upset those guys. We definitely could upset the Rams. And if we do that, hey, but right now, like I say, guys, I'm trying not to be biased because just being a Falcon fan and looking at, if we play the way we should play, we could be in all these games, right? So that's the way I'm looking at it. Wallace said Quinn just made too many staff coaching changes every year. Yeah, he he did, man. And honestly, I think he should have just been a defensive coordinator. I think if he would have just been a defensive coordinator, that might would have helped him out a little bit. Um, he believed in his scheme the way he believed in it, that cover three, you know. But guys, how many times you watched the Falcons and guys was wide open with that cover three defense, right? He didn't change it up, wasn't aggressive, and that defense is built on the front four creating pressure and the back seven being able to come up and make plays after what I'm saying, and try to keep them from in the end zone. And too many times that was not the case I mean, you can recall some of the quarterbacks, from opponents were saying that they knew exactly what we was going to be. They knew exactly what we were doing, and Dan Quinn just couldn't change the things. Um, so that's where it was with Dan Quinn. Um, There will be a nasty upset. Yep. If we was to go into SoFi and beat the Rams, man, and just think about it, we beat the Aints and then beat the Rams. Everybody had to start changing their tunes. That would be a nasty upset, man. That really would be. Next here. Oh yeah, they would. They'll be talking about it early season, and they'll be talking about Marcus Mariota. But I don't want them to start talking about us because they didn't believe in us when the season started. Don't start talking about us if we start winning games. Just stop. Don't believe in it. Hype. Don't believe in it. Just keep the same energy you had. We don't want nobody to jump on the bandwagon after they didn't believe in this team start the season. All right, so guys, we 2-1. Um, we come back home against the Cleveland Browns without Deshaun Watson. Like I said, we at home. I got us going 6-3 at home. It's another win. It's gonna be a tough game against that defense, against trying to stop those guys. The pressure we're gonna have to be able to stop the run attack from the Browns. So that's why we need to make sure we're good in that defensive line, their defense interior. We got to be able to stop Nick Chubb and company. If we can do that, we can actually get a win against the Browns. Because I think Jacoby Brissett's still going to be struggling in week 4. So there you have it. I got us going 3-1 in the first 4 games. And you guys may think that's crazy, but division game against the Aints, we can beat that team. Like you said, a trap game against the Rams. I think the Rams gonna get us, but going to Seattle, playing playing the team that's, in my opinion, kind of in a rebuild, we can beat that team, and then playing against the Cleveland Browns, with Dr. Deshaun Watson, got to be able to stop the run. If we can stop the run, it's gonna give us a chance. If we can do that in the first 4 games, 3-1, guys, we're right where we need to be. So that's the first quarter of the season, 3-1 for the Atlanta Falcons. When everybody thought that we was going 2-15, we already crack that ceiling, right? So that's what I think. But we're gonna say you had them going 3-1 same. I agree, and I don't see why that cannot be the case. And that's why I don't understand why they had us the 32nd worst, 31st worst team in the league, man. It baffles me because I think we're a better team than Seattle right now. I mean, I really do. And then, like I said, with Cleveland without Deshaun Watson, I think they're gonna struggle. They're gonna have to try to depend on the run game. If we can shut down the run, it give us a chance to win at home. So, um, next game against the Bucks in Tampa. I hate to say it. I think we take a L. It's a division game. It's a toss-up game. We always play the Bucks tough, but I'm going to give us an L in that game. Trying to be fair. Um, I think we can beat the Bucks anytime we play the Bucks. It's just my opinion. I think those games are always competitive against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even with all those weapons they got. However, their offensive line is in shambles right now. They lost their center, they lost some of their guards and things like that. So we can put pressure on Tom Brady up the middle. It'll definitely give us a chance. We do got 2 traders on the team that's definitely going to help them out, and Julio and Gage. So, but I'm giving them that win. So right there, we'll take the L against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, um, that's where I'm taking that. Right, you're exactly right, Bubblegum. They got us having the 32nd ranked roster in the league, man. That's crazy to me. We got probably the one of the best defensive tackles in the game, right? We got top 5 cornerback, one of the best tight ends in the game. I mean, man, we got one of the other on the other side of the corner, Casey Hayward, top 10 cornerbacks in the league. I just don't understand why, you know, they got us the 32nd ranked offense. Here he says, here, let me get this. Right. Matt Ryan never had. Look, I don't think. I mean, Tom Brady has the Falcons numbers. Let's just be honest. That's why I wish he would have stayed retired. Besides Drew Brees, he might be my other most hated quarterback. Um, I couldn't stand Drew Brees, and I'm glad he's gone. But Tom Brady might be second, and just to come to our division, and we still can't beat him. We had him. Um, that first game last year, we came back, and then we had those two, muff punts and things like that. Then the two pick six make the game look a little bit different than it should have looked. I thought the game was closer, and then against the second time, I just thought we just didn't have enough talent last year to play with the Bucks. I think it could be different this year, but we'll just have to see. Uh, we could catch them slipping, man. I agree. Like I said, that offensive line, it's a work in progress, and we'll have to see where they're sitting, and week 5, and see if we can catch them slipping. D Sloan said, "What's going on?" Yes, I agree. I think D Alford is going to start the season at nickel, and I think just if you look at the way he played the game, he had success. Go back and look at him in the Canadian Football League. Played very well. They won the championship there. But he's always around the ball, right? Um, he's going to be there. He's going to be competitive. He's going to be able to fight who's ever in that slot. He's not going to just give it up hands down. So I agree. I do think that the offer is going to be an impact for us. Wallace, I'm going to lead that Tampa game with a question mark with all injuries. I agree, man. I agree. All right, I'm trying to be fair here because I can actually say the Falcons ain't gonna lose no games, but because I'm a Falcon fan, right? But I'm trying to be fair, and since it's going to Tampa, I'm going to go ahead and pick Tampa there. But I agree with you. It's not like a foregone conclusion that we cannot beat that team. All right. Next game, the San Francisco 49ers. Hey, that's the first game we're gonna bring out. Those red helmets. It's gonna be pumped. The crowd's gonna be hype. We coming in. We're playing a rookie quarterback, man. I'm taking the W with that. I know the 49ers got a pretty good stout defense. Um, look at what we did against Debo Samuel last year, AJ Terrell. Go back and look at that game. I don't think he's going to have the game that people think is going to happen. If we can contain Trey Lance running the ball, we really don't know what he's going to look like. But by this time, we'll have a lot of film on Trey Lance to see. He's a rookie quarterback, in my opinion. Dean Pease should not ever, come in and let a rookie quarterback beat you. If you're a good defensive coordinator, your ideal is defensive rookie quarterback should not be the good defensive coordinator. That's just my opinion. So I'm putting a W against the Niners. Like I said, we're gonna rock that red helmets. They're bringing the red helmets back. It's gonna be a good moment for us, for the fans, and I'm trying to give us that W against the San Francisco 49ers. So that's I got a W there. Against the Cincinnati Bengals. Um, I gave us a loss. We're going up to Cincy. It's going to be a tough place to play. I really just like I said, trying to be fair. I'm not saying that they going. Sorry about that, guys. I am looking forward to the um the AJ Terrell and Chase rematch. Right? Everybody's talking about how Jamar Chase, you know, ate up AJ Terrell. I'm looking forward to that rematch. So I am looking forward to that. But I'm giving the Bengals a win in that. Um, That's fine. They can have it. Well, they can have that win. It's going to be a close game. Like I said, the Bengals did fix their offensive line issues they had. Their defense is pretty solid. I think we can get them in the passing game a little bit. We could see right now. To be honest with you, we don't really know how our offense is going to look with Marcus Mariota, right? We don't know if it's going to have a lot of passing yards. It's going to be run heavy. We got to see, how Arthur Smith game plan each week against these teams. But with the weapons that we do have, we can be competitive any game that we play. I mean, with a Kyle Pitts, with a Drake London, a Cordero Patterson, things like that, we can be definitely. So, but I'm looking for that Jamar Chase AJ Terrell matchup. But I gave the Falcons an L in that game. Carolina Panthers. I'm just going to say it right now. I got us beating the Panthers twice. So I mean, I think we had the Panthers number. People actually believing that the Panthers going to make it to the playoffs because of Baker Mayfield. I really have not really ever been that impressed with Baker Mayfield. I thought in Cleveland his run game was so dominant. He didn't have to do a whole lot. So that's just my opinion with the Carolina Panthers. It's another division game. So that's at home. Another home game coming in. Like I said, I got us going 63 at home. I think we can actually beat the Panthers at the house. So that first game against the Panthers and the second game, the Thursday night game as well, I'm giving us the W. So just to let you know, before we can get to that game, I got the Atlanta Falcons being the Panthers twice. Um, that's October 30th. Another win for us. Chargers, another home game against the Chargers. This is one of our losses. I'm taking L here against the Chargers. Um, so Justin Herbert and companies coming in. Um, I love their defense that they got. If those guys stay healthy, they're gonna be real tough to beat. Um, still think we could have a close game. Marcus Mariota had one of his best games against the Chargers, if you remember back in 2020. So hopefully he can replicate that again, the way he played against those guys. But taking it, giving us an L against the Chargers. So, um, like I said, trying to be fair here and look at teams and looking at their defense. I'm looking at the Chargers defense because I think they're very much improved. And the defensive backs they brought in. Hopefully they safety stays healthy, and then their weapons on offense. I'm giving the Chargers that win there the next game, and this is where I got the Falcons winning 3 games in a row. And like I said, in my opinion, these 3 teams are not better than the Falcons at this point in time. So the Panthers again on Thursday night, Chicago Bears, and the Washington Commanders. Those teams, we should win all those games. All right. Um, the Panthers, like I said, I don't think we can. I think we can beat the Panthers twice. It's just the way I feel about it. I think we're a better team than Chicago. We playing Justin Fields, who's still having issues with his offensive line. So I'm not going to go ahead and give them that win. And I just think that Chicago's in the rebuild. Another first time head coach. No, we're not going to lose against the Chicago Bears. The Commanders going to be tough at home playing those guys, but I think that um, personally for me, um, I think we're a better team again than the Commanders. I think that quarterback, um, just not the dude. He's not that dude, man. And I think that he could give you some games if needed. Just go back and look at his history. He had one good season, the season that he could have been MVP before he got hurt. Other than that, he had an up and down career so far. So I'm just going to go with that's a 3 game winning streak for us. So the 10th, the 20th, and the 27th, the Falcons are going to actually go on a 3 game winning streak. I like that. That's the way I like it. And Bubba Gump said, second month of the season, 2-2. If we can go 2-2 in the second month of the season, hey, that's the way it is. If we can go 2-2, I agree. All right, let's get to the December the 4th before our bye week. Um, the Steelers coming to town. I gave us an L against the Steelers. Um, I think it was a toss up in this game. I don't know how good the Steelers going to be. I know they're going through a quarterback transition as well. One thing I do know about the Pittsburgh Steelers, they always come in. You're going to have to play hard nosed football against those guys. Their defense is good, so we're gonna have to play good football against the Steelers. I got us taking the L, but it could go either way with that. But like I could once again, guys, these predictions, so we don't know. So I got us losing that game. Then we go into our bye week before we play the Aints again on the road, right? So we're going to bye weeks. Now, one thing about this schedule for the Falcons, we got 13 straight games before our first for our bye. So what really we need to factor in is our injuries, how healthy guys is going to be in those first 13 weeks, especially our quarterback, because we know he does have history actually, um, getting injured. So if Marcus Mario definitely can stay healthy, that's a lot of games to play. The first 13 games of the season, I don't think they did the Falcons any favors here. Um, so it's going to be tough. 13 games, and for some of these young college guys, that's a whole college season. So, and we still got 4 games left. So just look at it that way. Um, this bye is definitely going to be needed for some of these guys, but going into um that bye week, we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got us winning 8 games and before the bye week, right? So look at that, right? So we got us winning 8 games in the bye weeks. If we had got 8 games wins in the books, before that 13 week or bye week, we are looking good. I like that. I really do. Um, I think that put us in the playoff hunt. I don't know how we would be in the division. It depends on how Tampa is doing. Um, but I like where we're at if we're got 8 wins going into the bye week. All right. Um, coming out of the bye week, like I said, that's a game against the New Orleans Aints again. And before we started this, I said I'm not giving the Aints a win, and I just won't do it. I'm sorry. I don't like that team, so I got us beating them again. So yeah, we beat the Panthers twice, and we beat the Saints twice in the same season. If we could do that, I think just by that mere fact alone, that's definitely put us at least in a wild card spot in the NFC. So just hope we can play well in our division. First of all, right now against the AFC North, we 2-1 in the AFC North against that team coming up to this point. Um, because we lost to the Bengals and we lost to the Steelers, but that's a non-conference games. If we can not worry about our conference game, we win our games in conference. That's where we're going to actually help ourselves in the NFC playoff as well. So, those some of the things that I'm looking at. Um, so we come to the Saints on the 18th of December, and we get another win there. All right. And then Christmas Eve, going up to Baltimore, playing Action Jackson. Um, hopefully he don't sign his contract by then. I don't think it's a good idea for Lamar Jackson to actually go in the season not with a long term contract. That's dangerous, especially the way he plays. But Lamar Jackson, we actually go in. We play the Ravens on that week, and not giving us a loss on Christmas Eve. I think most of these guys gonna be upset because they got to be on the road for Christmas Eve. They're not gonna be at home, getting that family time and things like that. So I'm gonna give them an L um against the Ravens. So right now against the NFC AFC North, we only won one game. We won in 3 against the AFC North. So AFC North came in and they dominated the Falcons. That's okay. Right now we sitting at 9 wins. Um, so that's the way I'm liking it. And then come back home against the Cardinals on the January 1st. That's New Year's Day. And we know how the Cardinals play. They start off early, good, and then they start to slump towards the end of the season. Um, so let's just say that's not going to change this year, and we're going to take a win at home against the Arizona Cardinals. And then to end the season off, guys, we're back at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I gave them another loss. By this time, we'll be already solidified um, in our playoff seedings, hopefully, and we don't have to worry about this game so much. So, if it's a game that we need, I can see us, going out and trying to win it. But I got us taking another L at home. That's one of our three losses that we got at home this year. But in my opinion, if we go 6-3 um, in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, that would be a good what we want to do, and it's going to take us fans to actually come out and support the team, um, and give them that energy that they need. A lot of times going to home games against the Atlanta Falcons, be a lot of other team fans in there. It seemed like a neutral site more than a home game. We need to change that narrative. I like the way Archie Smith said they got to do their part first. The team got to go out and start winning games. We know the Atlanta fans are fair weather fans anyway. So if we win, they'll show up. They're not like other cities and things like that. Um, no matter if the team losing or not, they come out and support their team. Atlanta fans not like that, so they got to win. I get it, but we got to support this team. If we can go 6-3 at home this year, what I my prediction here is today. Um, if we can do that, that'd be great. Now, so taking away the bias, just say we get one of those games to the Saints. Say we split against the Saints this year. That's 9-8, and I still think 9-8 will still get us into the playoffs, at least to the wild card. So the Falcons can go 9-8 this year, and initially, like I said, I'm not giving them a win against the Saints, but let's just say the Saints we split against the Saints this year. Um, that still will put us at 9-8. I really want to know um, in some of these games where people kind of doubting how this is going to play out. Like I said, like Seattle, I still think that's a confident pick there. Like I said, playing the Browns without Deshaun Watson, I think it's a confident pick. Both for the Panthers games, I know it's a division game. We played those guys um, pretty well last year. I think the one game we had at the stadium last year, they ran the ball down our throats. The key this year, if we can start the run, and I really believe this, if the Atlanta Falcons can actually be good against the run, we can actually win more games this year. We can't let them just do what they want to do. If we can start the run, once again, let's just say they gave up 2,200 passing yards this year, last year. I mean, rushing yards, not passing yards, rushing yards. 2,200 rushing yards last year. That's a lot of rushing yards. If we can somehow, you know, change that, that definitely would help us. And let's just look at the quarterbacks we're playing. Jameis Winston in the first game, we know his track record. We got Matthew Stafford. We got can't even think of the quarterback name in Seattle right now. Jacoby Brissett, Tom Brady, rookie Trey Lance, just Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield again, second year quarterback Justin Fields. We got Carson Wentz. We know what to say about Carson Wentz. Um, we still don't know if Pittsburgh's still going to have their quarterback in. They're going to be done put Pickett in by then. We'll have to see. Jameis Winston again, Lamar Jackson, um, the little guy from Arizona. I say little. But believe it or not, guys, he's taller than me. So but he's still little. He's smaller than me. He's probably a little bit taller than me, but he's smaller than me at the same time. Then Tom Brady again. So guys, that's just my opinion. That's what I think. I definitely like to know what you guys think about the records you got for the Falcons. As you can see, it's not 2-15. Um, I believe in this team a lot more than the national media do, but I feel like I know this team better than they do as well. I think most of you guys agree with me that um, it's a lot of more winnable games on this schedule than than people would think. And just put in perspective. These teams got to play other teams too. Like everybody record is not going to be like just dominate other teams. All these teams, like I said, the first game of the season for the Rams against the Buffalo Bills, right? So we don't know what the NFC, how many wins you're actually going to need in NFC to actually make it to the playoffs. We don't know that yet. We have to see. Um, we have to factor in injuries, right? We don't know what teams, key players is going to get injured. Let's knock on wood. It always happen every year. That changes the team's fortunes for that year. So you have to just look at that. Hopefully, the Falcons stay healthy, especially Marcus Mariota. If he can stay healthy, I think that's going to help us. But right now, it's a prediction. Like we don't know how these teams is going to do. None of the teams in the NFL, nobody knows. We haven't seen these version of these teams play at all this year. Nobody has. Um, we can just look at the talent they have on the team, and I guess sometimes that's what people go off of, the talent, right? So for an example, they're looking at the Saints, and um, everybody looking at the talent the Saints have on their team, but I guess they're not considering the coaching. Um, how important was Sean Payton? If they didn't think Sean Payton's that important, they could just roll anybody out there, and they're gonna still be the same um, Saints. We're gonna find out this year, right? We're gonna find out how important Sean Payton was to the New Orleans Saints. That I think that has to factor in something, some wins and losses for the for this team. So that's just my opinion. I really believe that you have to factor in coaching. All right. I think they overlook our coaching staff. We have a lot of veteran coaches in here. Yes, Arthur Smith in his second season, but I think he put a good coaching staff around him. And then I think Arthur Smith himself is a good creative offensive minded coach. I mean, just 2 years with the Tennessee Titans, he had the first and second best offense in those 2 years alone, right? And I believe that we got better talent around um, these guys than he had in Tennessee. Of course, you got King Henry over there, but across the board, I think the talent wise, um, from an offensive standpoint, I think the Atlanta Falcons have better talent than he had in Tennessee. And I think his creative mind can actually put these guys in position to actually do it. If you just sit back and look at some of the things we can do with some of the weapons that we have. But we're gonna say 10-7 is possible. I agree. It's possible, man. It really is possible. Looking at the schedule, I don't see why we can't be 27, right? But let's say this. It starts with the first game. All right, you can't play all of them, all 17 games at once, right? So we need to worry about the Aints right now. That's the only game we need to worry about. We need to worry about those guys and beating those guys week one. That's what we need to have our mind focused on. I'm pretty sure, hoping that I can tell you this. I know they're not saying it out loud. They joke about it a little bit. Arthur Smith make his remarks about um listen to the other doubters out there. They're gonna create their own, write their own story and things like that. But believe me, guys, they hear the critics and they got chips on their shoulder. They hear the critics. they hear everybody saying they're going to win 2 games this season, and if you don't believe that competitive professional guys that don't motivate them, we'll wait to see week 1 and see how motivated they are. Man, if this is what you say, you think that he's winning comeback player of the year. So if you're going to get a hot take, I'm gonna give another hot take. Drake London wins offensive player rookie of the year. There you go. So Marcus Mariota wins comeback player of the year. Drake London wins offensive rookie of the year. That's the other hot take. I think I already put a hot take out there when I said the Falcons are gonna go 10-7, right? Because I don't think anybody, um, besides us Falcon fans, um, and the team itself is giving these guys a chance to do anything this year. All right, they already got us picking in the top 5 next year. Some great players in the draft coming out next year, but we in 2022, man. That's where we need to have our mind focused at right now. Um, I do believe that the future is bright for this team, and I had somebody um, hit me up on one of my videos and say that um, he just hoped the Falcons win in his lifetime. And I'm gonna say this as a Falcon fan, um, it's coming. It's coming, man. Just we gotta believe. Um, it was so close in 2016, but I thought we was a year ahead of schedule that year, and we just could never get back. But um, I think these guys, the way this regime is trying to build this team, I think they're doing it the right way. They creating a competitive atmosphere, year in and year out. They can't sustain. I get it. They can't sustain bringing in 1 year contracts each year because to me that's creating that competitiveness, bringing guys in on 1 year deals and having these guys compete for their jobs and things like that. Eventually, they're gonna have to pay guys. They're gonna have to pay AJ Terrell. They're gonna have to pay Kyle Pitts. Um, Eventually, that's going to have to happen. They're gonna have to pay Christian Lindstrom, another guy. So the money is going to start, um, you know, being divvied out to these guys. But a lot of these guys that this time, hopefully, these guys could actually be good signees, good for the team instead of giving out bad contracts like they have did before, um, trying to keep guys that maybe wasn't somebody that they could build around, but they had to pay them because if they lost them, it just would have made the team even worse. So hopefully this time, this new regime, they can manage the salary cap better. Next year, we're definitely going to be out of where we're at right now, but I just like the way they trying to build, not looking, towards next year. They're looking at this season and trying to win this year and be competitive this year. And I think that's the kind of culture you want to build. If you're gonna come in and try to sell your team to, potential free agents, thing like that, you got to have some kind of culture established. Um, the one that they're establishing is you come in, you work hard, Um, everything that you get is earned, it's not given. So that's what I see from this team. That's why I believe that they can go 10-7 this year. Um, maybe 9-8 at the worst for me. Um, those are my hot takes, and I like that. So, guys, that's all I got today. It's 54 minutes. Um, I really want to know what you guys think about the Falcons going 10-7 this year. 10-7. That's what I got. But we only worry about one right now, and that's the New Orleans Aints. So um forget about second week, third week, fourth week, all the way to week 17. Only thing week we're worrying about right now is week 1. And if we can actually start it off right, right? Because I'm telling you, our fan base, and it's just call it what it is. If we can come out in week 1 and beat the Saints, it's just going to start creating that momentum for us. All right. So that's where it starts. It started off week 1. All right. We got to come out and actually put on the show for the city against the Aints, man. I mean, just keep it real. That's our team that we love to beat. We come out and beat those guys. Um, it set the tone for the season, and we can start shutting up some of the doubters. Because believe it or not, a lot of people is picking the Saints to actually come out of NFC this year. And if we can go out in week 1 and hit them in the mouth and shut up all the critics, um, we can already shake up the season start right off the bat. So that's where I'm at. 10-7. Go Falcons. Rise up. 30 birds. All that stuff. Let's do it. All right, guys. This is your boy Recondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.